Hello, everyone, and welcome to Simple Strategies to Build Your EDU Brand in 2021. So this is going to be some very timely, relevant information, and I am Liz Burkhart. I'm with Agile Education Marketing, and on the phone we also have Kara Murphy, who is with Agile Education Marketing. So I will be your host, master of ceremonies, if you will, and Kara will be our tech moderator. So if you have any technical questions, any questions about anything that doesn't have to do with our content today, put it in chat and Kara will get back to you right away. So I'm going to go through a couple housekeeping things and then we'll set up our session for today. Everyone is going to be on mute except for myself and Jeff, of course. And we also really understand that the world is very different for all of us today. So we are going to give ourselves and each other a lot of tech grace. We have children and partners and animals running around like maniacs. And we also know that sometimes the internet gets overloaded. So we are recording this, and everyone who's in attendance, as well as those who've registered, are going to get a link to that recorded version, as well as some other follow-up items from Jeff that he's put together. So thank you, Jeff, for doing that. So let's go ahead and get started. Jeff Bradbury is with TeacherCast, and he is also a teacher himself. He is a globally recognized educator, but he also spends time improving how brands, how businesses, how people like me and you connect with educators. So helping us really understand what it is that's important, how to cut through the clutter, and how to make a really solid connection. So he's here with us today, not only to help us with that, but also give us some thoughts that he has on the world of education this year and, you know, moving into the back half of this year and how everything is kind of crazy. So Jeff, is there anything else you'd like to share with us? And then I'm happy to hand it over to you.
I am looking forward to this. Thank you guys for being here. It's great to see everybody. And please do me a favor in the chat or in the Q&A. Let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're from. And I think most importantly, tell me why you're here. Are you a content creator looking to up your game? Are you looking to create a side hustle? Are you a business owner looking to reach out to, educators or create a following for yourself? What are some of those goals that you have? We're going to be opening up today and discussing all of that stuff. And if it's okay, are we ready to start? Are we all here? Can you see the screen? Are we all good today? Excellent. Well, let's get started. Thank you, guys. I call this presentation Simple Strategies to Build Your EDU Brand. Sometimes I call it the 5 steps that all entrepreneurs, edupreneurs take. If you are looking at yourself as some kind of a content creator, you guys are in the right spot. Now, first of all, as we get started here, I want to start by saying thank you. It takes a lot to make yourself available. I know myself, I just got home from work and here we are. Some of you guys still might be at work. Thank you guys for being here. And of course, I want to say thank you to our host at Agile Ed. I want to make sure that you guys are having a good time today. So if you have any questions, please leave something in the chat. I'm going to be looking up and down for all of that stuff. And also, I've got some great parting gifts for you guys. So if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you guys some links to get a hold of our Build Your EDU Brand checklist, our roadmap, and you have an opportunity to not only work with me, but have some great freebies at the end. So stick around, and I certainly hope that I see you guys on the other side of the webinar. Okay? So first of all, why are we here? Take a moment. Go into the chat, go into that Q&A. What are your goals? What are your goals for being here? I would love to see and love to hear a little bit about yourself, because today we're all about you guys. We're here to help you build your EDU brands. It doesn't matter if you're a content creator, a CEO, a podcaster, author, speaker, heck, even if you're running a tech chat on a Monday night, there's a lot of great stuff that are out here, and we're all about trying to figure out how to do that and how to do that more efficiently. So today we're going to talk all about finding our avatars. We're going to talk about content creation strategies. We're going to talk about creating that digital hub and getting love from the Google. We're also going to talk about how do we build a following and nurturing that following so that way that following comes back. And I want to start here and say thank you to everybody yesterday who was on my newsletter, clicked on that button, hit the accept, and signed up. And you guys are here today. You are the best. Thank you guys so much for all of that stuff. At the end of this, you guys are going to walk away with an understanding of how to contact your target audience and how to make sure that you're reaching everything that they are. We're going to talk about the best software and applications for building your EDU brand. I'm even going to lift up my hood here and show you how TeacherCast has run for 10 years. In addition to that, I'm going to give you guys some free downloads, some free templates that you can use, whether you be a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, or a full-fledged CEO. There's something here for everybody, so stick around for that. There's so much more, and if you don't see what you're looking for, all you have to do is ask, leave a chat, leave your email, leave your Twitter. I'd love to have you guys here. So how about it? Are we ready to start? Can I get like a heck yeah in the chat? Leave me like a big heck yeah or slam or something to let me know that you guys are there. I want to say thank you out there to Kathy and Peter and Tim and George and Peter and oh my goodness, thank you guys for being here. Let's have a good time. First of all, again, welcome. I'm so excited. Welcome to the TeacherCast Studios. My name is Jeff Bradbury. I am a Connecticut educator, and for the last 10 years, I've been the founder, creator, and proprietor of the TeacherCast Educational Network. Had the opportunity to not only work with teachers for the last 10 years in their classrooms, in their buildings, consulting with school districts on how to move their brands forward, but I've also had an opportunity to work with and have amazing conversations and relationships with the best of the best ed tech companies from around the world. I'm currently on staff as the podcaster for the New Jersey Education Association for 3 years. I was the podcaster for Microsoft Education, and I've had all of this amazing experience working with brands to help them be better communicators. And I am here today to talk about all of those different experiences and how you guys can take advantage of some of the stuff that's happened here as we as TeacherCast has built our EDU brand. So if you have any questions, again, please leave a comment downstairs. Would love to hear it. Esther, way to go. Ready, so ready. Absolutely awesome. So let's jump right in, okay? Again, anytime you want to leave questions, put them at the bottom. Here's my first question to you guys. Do you have an avatar? Now, if you know what an avatar is, or if you think you know what an avatar is, do me a favor, put it in the chat. What do I mean when I say the word avatar? Does anybody know? I'll tell you, when I look at the word avatar, it is all about identifying who that person is you're speaking to, you're selling, you're working with, you're attracting. You can say identify your avatar. You can say identify your customer. You can say identify your target audience. Whatever words you want to use, we want to know who that person is that you're selling things to. You need to know, what do they look like? What do they do? What information are they seeking? How are they seeking that information? What do you think they already know as they seek that information? Where they want to learn? And really the most important thing, what are the goals and objectives that your avatar has? These are just some of the questions that as we start to figure out who is actually the target audience, who's going to be finding us, who's going to be paying for us, who's going to be helping us find our next target goal, who are these people? Do you know who your avatar is? So I always look at a couple of questions here. Number one, I ask myself, what are the most important qualities of that avatar? Are they single? Are they married? Are they business owners? Are they teachers? Are they students? What are the most important qualities? Are they computer savvy, not computer savvy? Are they looking to learn? Do they already have a base and they want that second level? So many different things that we want to figure out as we're looking for that target audience. What happens if our avatar decides to get up and leave the room? How many of you guys have ever had that experience? You've walked into a store and somebody comes up to you and says, "Can I help you?" And you go, "Just looking," and you'll leave. I know you've all been there. I've been there, both as a customer and as a business owner. What happens when you have this experience? And then lastly, how do we determine what is the best way of connecting to our avatars? How do we find them? What do they want? And then how do we make sure that we're giving them what they want? So here's my advice. Here's what we want to do. First, we want to figure out what and who our avatar is. Come up with that person. And then we want to figure out how can we reach those goals. I'll give you a good story. One of the podcasts that I run is called Ask the Tech Coach. It's a weekly show all designed for teachers who are in the professional development field. Now, that could be anybody. But specifically, when I turn on that microphone, I'm specifically talking to a tech coach or a digital learning coach or somebody in that PD field that might not know what their next move is. They might be one tech coach in a field of schools. They might have more than one principal. They might have more than one boss, more than one master that's keeping them in track. And they're kind of feeling a little like, I don't know what to do next. Help me, somebody. I want to be successful. Oh my goodness, the sky is falling. That's actually my target audience. When I talk on Ask the Tech Coach, I'm really speaking to that specific type of person. So knowing your audience, knowing who you're speaking to is extremely important. You need to figure out, what can I do to help out that tech coach? What can I do to help out you guys today? After all, that's why I'm asking you the questions. Tell me why you're here. Once I know why you guys are here, then I can tell you how the rest of the presentation is going to be. So I need to know, what topics today do we want to cover? Do we want to go in one direction? Do we want to go in another direction? What are some of the things that we should be covering today? How long and short should I spend on each topic? What are the platforms that need to be consumed? How many ways can I make this topic? I'm already seeing here in the messages, is this presentation going to be available? That's different than, is this presentation going to be recorded? So many different ways to figure out how to get your avatar exactly what you want. I always say that these things should be producing 3 to 4 big topics with a number of subtopics. So if you're looking at something like the Tech Coach podcast, we've got 3 or 4 big topics. We talk about ed tech, we talk about teacher relations, we talk about working with principals, and then we talk about making sure visions and goals are being set. And then from there, we come up with our smaller topics. Those turn into our episodes, blog posts, social media content, webinars, all of those different things. Does that make sense? Please take a moment. If you have any questions, you can leave them below. I'm constantly looking up and down. So if you have any glaring questions, just let me know. And thank you guys. It is so great to be here for all of that stuff. Congratulations. You have your avatar. You know who you're selling to. You know who you're trying to get to see your brand. You know that person or persons or group or thing or building or company or whatever that you're trying to attract their attention. Now we're going to come to the second thing. What is your content strategy? Defining how you're going to attract that customer is important. Let's face it, right? You can't just throw stuff out there. You can't just make random tweets. You can't just spend a lot of time going in a direction that doesn't matter. If you know who you want, if you know how they want it, if you know where they want it, then it's just a matter of asking yourself, how am I going to get it to them? So let's talk a little bit here about content strategy. And you know what? If you have a content strategy, please feel free. Stick it on the bottom. We'd love to hear from it here. All right. I see some people here. Cassie says, my target audience is school principals. And Joe here says he wants to be mentoring school leaders to increase their. Yes, that's exactly what we're looking at here. We want to create a content strategy to attract those avatars. So we want to think about, what is your avatar doing? Where is your avatar doing it? And how does your avatar want to be doing it, right? So think about that tech coach. What do they want? Well, they might want information. They might want resources. They might just need a hug. They might need to know that everything's okay. And don't forget, we've all been there before. We've been that tech coach in a world of, I don't know what's going on. They want reassurance to know that it's okay to ask for help and where to ask it. So now that we kind of come up with here's the content that our avatar needs, now we can jump into that second spot, which is, well, how often should you publish? What do you guys think? You're a podcaster, you're a blogger. How often should you publish? I know some bloggers that publish 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. I know some podcasters and bloggers that publish once a week or once every other week. Knowing what type of content your avatar wants, knowing when they want it, knowing how they want it is really important to knowing how much should you be putting out. If you're burning the midnight oil trying to make podcast after podcast after blog post after newsletter, and you realize that your avatar can't soak it up that fast, it's good information to know. If you're targeting a younger generation, then maybe you do need to do more stuff. If you're targeting an older generation, or I'll even say a busier generation, then maybe you want to back off on your content stream. If you know that your audience, let's say, are principals, then you might want to make less content but push it more, knowing that the principals aren't always going to be there and ready for it. So small amount of content, more meaningful, more packed with goodness, but you might want to start social mediaing it more so that way you never know when they're going to see it. Okay? Knowing all of these things are going to help you figure out what kind of content ultimately. Do I want long form, short form, written, audio, video, newsletters? We're all going to figure out what that content strategy is. Now, if any of this is new to you, don't worry. At the end of this, I'm going to give you guys a link. This is our first freebie, our first giveaway. This is a template that we created using Google Slides that's going to help you not only figure out what your subject is, but how they're going to get it. And you'll also be able to keep track of some of these tasks and stuff that you're going to be working on as you're coming up with your avatar, as you're building your brand, as you're kind of come up with a content strategy for everything. Okay, so I got you covered. I'm going to give you the links in just a few minutes as we go through here. Okay. Oh, I like all this different stuff. I'm looking down here. Nice. Cassie, Joe, and a couple of other people here. Thank you guys so much for contributing. Keep the comments coming. The other thing I want to share with you guys is an editorial calendar. Now, this is kind of crude, but that's okay. Basically, this is another Google Sheets template where you can say, here's the topic of content. Here are the dates that I started the post. Here's when I finished the post. Check marks for different things like your content bumper. Is it published? Did I put in the newsletter? This is a really neat organizational tool. I use this for TeacherCast, and it just helps me keep everything organized. So just for being here, just to say thank you, here's some great templates for you guys. I hope you have a chance to download them and enjoy them. Here's my question. I really want to see if you guys can answer this question here, because I'm always fearful about this question, but please let me know in the chat. Should you have a website for your brand? Should you have a website for your company? Should you have a website for your podcast, for your blog, for your audience? What do you think? I'm curious. I'm going to pause here for a second, but what do you think? Should you have a website? And a lot of different answers coming in here. And you know what? I'm going to give you guys a hint. Lean in with me a little bit. Should you have a website? No. Don't make a website. Don't put a website together. I know that sounds weird, right? Like, what does he mean don't have a website? It's 2021. Why do we not have a website? Here's my theory on all of this stuff. We want to take a look at some of these terms. Do I make a blog? Do I make a website? Do I make something else? My advice is this. If you're going to make a website, you're going to create a digital online property that sits there and stays there, and that's about it. If you think of that thing not as a website, but as a hub, a digital hub, then you're going to be able to look and plan and come up with a product that is going to be ever evolving. It's going to be a living document. Teachers like that word. And on top of that, it is going to be that central point for everything that you do. It's going to be the center of your contact page. It's going to be the center of your blog post, be the center of your podcast, of your writing, of your speaking. All your social media is going to stem from it. So don't walk into these projects thinking, I need a website. I want you to walk into these projects thinking, I need a hub from which all of my digital communication can come from, be generated from, flow from, and more importantly than anything else, acts as a mousetrap for others to come in and find your content. I saw a recent article on somebody's website of, do I send the link to a YouTube video or do I embed the YouTube video on my website? Of course you embed the website and video together. That way everybody's eyes are on you. If I send you to a YouTube link, you're going to watch my video maybe for 10 seconds and then you're going to go into the YouTube loop. It's designed for that. But if I put that video on my website, you're now in my world, in my home, and you're going to be able to see all of the other content tips. So even if you do only watch the video for a couple seconds, chances are you're going to be clicking around in my environment, and that's a win for everybody. How do you do that? Well, that's another conversation. Happy to help you out with that. Is your website built off of WordPress, Wix, Weebly, Google Sites, SharePoint? So many different options, and I got you covered over on TeacherCast. We go into all of these little things. The most important thing I think we should say is you want your digital hub to be some kind of a content management system or a CMS. WordPress is a great example. I think the last time I looked at the statistics, it's like 41% of the entire internet. Think about that. Trillions of, 65 trillion pages, and 41% of them are built off of the WordPress framework. That's awesome. So if you have any questions about websites or content hubs or anything like that, I'm happy to help you out. I didn't start TeacherCast on WordPress. I created it off of a different application that was nice. It was easy to use, graphically friendly, mobile happy, but I couldn't do anything with it. Finally, I put it over onto WordPress and I was able to create much more easily my podcast, my blogs, my landing pages, feed my newsletter, host webinars, you name it, all done because of things like categories, tags. And if I'm going over your head, call me. I'm happy to help out, and I'm happy to share with you guys all about these things. Okay, so let's keep going forward. If there's any I see a couple questions here. Please keep them coming, and thank you guys for popping in with this. Let's keep moving forward here as we go. Leave your questions at the bottom. Again, I'm going to save this for another time. You can find this stuff over on TeacherCast, different kinds of WordPress, just things that you might hear. If you are interested in learning about WordPress, you know, like I said, call me. There's a lot of different things. I'm happy to steer you guys in the right direction, whether you're a teacher, a user, a business owner, CEO, whatever you happen to be, happy to help you out with all of that stuff. Find the right host, find the right theme, upgrade your website. Hey, even do a website audit of your current site. Happy to help you guys out there. I do a program called educationalwebdesign.com. Happy to help you guys out with that if you want to go to educationalwebdesign.com. So let's review a little bit. Do you know who your target avatar is? We've been thinking about it for the last 15 minutes or so. Who is that person? Is it that principal? Is it a tech coach? Is it a business? Is it a company? Who is that target audience? And to be honest with you, your target audience should be Google. I know that sounds also weird, right? But if you think about it, more search is going to come to your website through Google than social media, through word of mouth, through business cards, through email newsletters. All of that stuff combined is never going to come close to the amount of traffic that Google's going to bring you. It's about 85% of my daily traffic comes from direct search. Let me ask you guys this. Yes or no? Let's just make this easy. Is Google a search engine? I'm gonna ask that question. Yes or no in the comments. Is Google a search engine? Excuse me. What do you guys think out there? Is Google a search engine? Is it a search engine? What do you think? Have you heard that term before? I hear a couple people saying yes. Yes, I see more people saying yes. You might think yes, because we hear all the time, it's a search engine. In reality, and this is where some of this background stuff kind of comes in of knowing Right now, Google is our target audience. What does Google want? What does Google think? How does Google work? What does Google know where your stuff is? All those different things. It actually turns out Google is not a search engine. If we think of Google as being a search engine, we're doing it wrong. We're doing it backwards. Google is not a search engine. Say it again. It's not a search engine. It's actually a search index. Well, what's the difference between a search engine and a search index? I know you guys are already Googling this. A search index and a search engine. Here's how I explain this. Think about your school. You go into the library. You want to learn all about elephants, right? Now, I could go to every single page, stack, computer, book, Dewey Decimal System. I can go in there and search for elephants, and I might find things. I might not find things. I might stay there for 5 days and never find things. But where do I do if I want to walk into the library and I want to search for elephants? Where do I go? I go to the librarian. I say to the librarian, I want to learn about elephants. And the librarian goes, oh, well, over here is a book. Over here's a magazine. Over here's a website. Over here's some microfiche. Remember those? Over here is a directory. Over here is a... The librarian cataloged everything in their library, and when asked, laid it out for you guys so that way you can figure out what do I want and where. Then of course you can say, oh, I want to read the magazine, I want the website, and give me that audiobook over there. You can determine. In this example, the library is the search engine. It is the thing that holds all of the stuff. But what is actually the thing that you're asking the questions to? You're asking the questions to the librarian who has indexed all of the information. When you go to Google and you type in what is an elephant, you're asking it to bring back a category of stuff that's been indexed over 65 trillion websites and sources. So it's important that we know the difference between that. I wouldn't have spent all this time on that subject. You're learning how to be indexed by Google. Well, if I know how to search in Google and find the information that I want, then we need to be able to reverse engineer Google and say, what can I do to my website to make Google easily index my stuff? Easily categorize my stuff, easily put it into a bucket, so that way when somebody goes and does a search out in the middle of the world, they find my content. I'm curious, does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. And if not, we can explain that some other time. But let me know if that makes sense. You want to look at Google and say, what is it actually doing? How is it crawling? Where is it crawling? When is it crawling, right? That's the difference between a search engine and a search index. It's the difference between a librarian and a library. Knowing the differences is going to help you become more successful and, most importantly, have your brands be found, right? So your number one target audience should be the search engines. Your number one traffic source should be coming from the search engines. That's just natural. There's a billion people in the world, and maybe there's only a couple hundred teachers that know about you, or a couple hundred businesses that know about you. You want to make sure that you're marketing your website to the largest amount of stuff possible. When you type in educational podcaster, I want you to have my name pop up there. Most people aren't going to type in Jeff. They're going to type in education, podcast, how to, microphone, things like that. I want TeacherCast to pop up. So I'm building content that has these different things. After all, a little SEO, search engine optimization, goes a long, long way, okay? We'll talk about these things later. I'm happy to get on the call with you guys down the road, but just as an example, a little SEO goes a long way. Every one of my blog posts and podcasts, I have 5 different titles for. One for my website, one that goes into iTunes, one that goes into Spotify, one that might go into YouTube, one or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 that might go onto the social media posts. These all have different audiences. each of these platforms shows a different number of characters, and you've got different people looking at YouTube for information than on your podcast player for information, then in your blog post for information, definitely on your social media. So the more that you can be detailed and search engine optimized in what you're doing, you're going to get a bigger response. You're going to get more audience. You're going to be able to connect with everybody. And ultimately, you're going to lead to more revenues, and you're going to have a better chance at building your EDU brand. Now, I threw a couple tools in here for you to be aware of. Everybody, I think, knows about Google Analytics. That's the portal, free portal on Google that says how many people visited your website and from where and all that stuff. But not many people know about something called Google Search Console. Look it up. If you have any questions, I'm here and I'm happy to help. You can check me out anytime you want, and I'm happy to jump on a call. All right, let's just take a quick pause. Questions. Are we doing okay here, guys? How are we doing? I see some of these things are making sense. Two-sided marketplace, George. I like that idea. Where do we find free downloads? All the links are going to be at the end. I know I'm a tease, but all the links are going to be at the end of all this stuff. So if you have any questions, please keep them coming. I'm having fun here, and I thank you guys again for having me be a part of your professional development. Let's move forward, because really, if you look at the time, we're just getting started here. Now, back to the avatar. How are you finding your avatar? Where is that avatar? How do we want to have them found? Where do they need? All of that great stuff, okay? Really what I'm looking for here is social media. Okay, we just wrapped up how do you make the world find you. Now we want to look at social media. Knowing your avatar, going back to that tech coach, going back to that principal, right? All those different people. Where are they getting their information? Are they getting it on Twitter? Are they getting it on Facebook? Are they getting it on Clubhouse? Are they getting it on TikTok? Which social media websites? If you out there thinking, I gotta be on everything, no. Build a taproot. Maybe Instagram is good for you. Maybe you want to do Instagram stories. Maybe LinkedIn is good for you, right? Learn about the social media algorithms. For instance, we all know that on LinkedIn, I can take a YouTube video and put it into LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't care. But if I take a video that I created and I upload it into LinkedIn, suddenly you're a rock star, and LinkedIn's going to use that to blast it out, because LinkedIn would rather be sharing its native video content than a YouTube player. So knowing a little bit about how these different social media algorithms work is important, and also know when they change. Right? Know your characters, right? This isn't about Mickey, Donald, and Iron Man. This is know how many words fit into something. I see podcasters ruin this opportunity every single day. They'll create their podcast and they'll say 302 space 12 Chrome extensions for blah, 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 and you never see the end of it. Because by the time they actually get to the noun, which is, Chrome extensions for, it's already off the page or off your phone. I might tell you to do, instead of 302, most important Chrome extensions for, I might just go Chrome extensions for tech coaches. Keep it short and simple, because on your iPhone, you only have so many things. Your blog post might say Chrome extensions for the tech coach who has it all. Something silly like that, right? So know how many characters, know your hashtags, use them all. One of my favorite hashtags is called EdTechChat, done by a wonderful team. I can't remember who did it though. The names are escaping me. But you want to make sure that you're a person and not a bot. You want to make sure that you're being human and not a machine. It's okay to schedule some things, but you want to be seen as a human. You want to be out there communicating. You want to be making friends. After all, social media. Okay? So you have your avatar. You've done your needs assessment. You know what your avatar is looking for. You figured out a plan to create the content, when to create the content. You know how to attach your Googliness to it, and you found them over on social media. Great. They know about you. Congratulations, you've made it. Next, let's talk a little bit about how you're nurturing them. How do we get them back? Every single week I put out my newsletter, I always do the same thing that every newsletter person does. I run to see how many people have unsubscribed. Then I look at how many people are coming back, coming back, coming back. And I have to ask those people the questions. Why are you here? What are you looking for? What's going to motivate you? Are you looking for podcasts or blogs or theater or anything like that? What do you need? So let's take a look at a bit about how we're going to do this, right? We talk a lot about newsletters, otherwise known as email marketing. And by the way, is there a difference between a newsletter and email marketing? You bet there is. There's a big difference. A newsletter goes out. It's Sunday. I'm going to write down some thoughts. I'm going to send it out. Next Sunday, write down some thoughts, send it out. Email marketing is very targeted at the person. There's a lot of tricks to it, but the returns are so much greater. There's newsletters I subscribe to, I don't read. It's the same boring stuff over and over again. There's email marketing that I don't read, but at least it's targeted to my needs. The difference is, if I'm going to be creating email marketing, I need to know something about you. So that way I can put the content in front of you to then elicit the response of having you guys click on something and then take an action, whether that be to visit, to click, to pay for, to subscribe to, something in there. I do that in a variety of ways. If you look at TeacherCast on the top, it always says, what's your name? First name only, by the way. First name only. Never ask for last names. First name only. The second thing I asked for is your email address. We need that. And then the third thing is it says, I am a. Now, I'm going to let you guys finish the sentence on there. I hope you like me. But it says, I am a, and it drops down and it says, I am a podcaster. I'm a tech coach. I'm a teacher. I'm a librarian. I'm a college or university person. I'm a coach. I'm whatever, right? At the point of contact, at the point that you sign up for my newsletter, I'm already knowing what type of content you would like. So if you say, my name is Jeff, here's my email, I'm a coach, you're going to get a welcome package for coaches. If you say I'm a podcaster, you're going to get a different welcome package for podcasters. I'm targeting the different pieces of content to make you come back. Now, if your platform isn't as crazy as TeacherCast and as wackily putting together as TeacherCast, and you just have a single line, you might not need that. You might say, I'm only doing content for people who like the Instant Pot. But even with that, I might ask the question, have you used the Instant Pot before? Are you a novice? Are you an expert? Or never heard of an Instant Pot? You might be able to target your audience even down with that. So knowing a little bit more about email marketing, and if this is too much, don't worry. Tons of great stuff over on TeacherCast, and I'll show you guys where to have things as we go through all of this stuff. Okay, take a moment, take a breath. You guys are doing great. I love the questions. Cassie, keep them coming. Ingrid, Joe, Ryan, Alex, keep them coming. All right, keep these questions coming, guys. Thank you again so much for being here. Please keep the questions coming. Now, I told you I'd open up the hood here. On July 11th, 2011, I created TeacherCast. It's a big day that's coming up in a few months here. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. Over the time, TeacherCast has grown from an idea to a blog to a podcast, multiple podcasts, and now we're doing this thing all over the place. Everything I do is built on a platform called WordPress. I host with podcast websites. You can go over to teachercast.net/PW for more information. My email is a combination. I do Gmail, but I also run Outlook. I have both different things because I've got two different needs for my email. A little crazy. My newsletter is built off of something called ConvertKit. You can teachercast.net/ConvertKit for that. I do all my social media through TweetDeck. I use social posting through CoSchedule. It's a fantastic application called Plutio. I do all my project management in, although I should also add Microsoft Teams into that. And my booking page, I think it's teachercast.net/bookme or something like that, is called Book Like a Boss. Pixelmator, Canva, I love these different applications. I run a mastermind program that I do everything through a platform called EventsFrame. It does marketing, it does ticketing, it does waitlist, it connects into ConvertKit. There's a lot of great things that EventsFrame does. Of course, Google Analytics, Console, Link Cheetah. These are all my little tips and tricks of how to do things. I love using Google Sites to build a dashboard. And over the summertime, I said, all right, free is nice, but what happens if you pay a little bit of money for things? Some of these things here are free. Some of these things here are paid. But over the summertime, I put TeacherCast on a full business package for Microsoft 365 so I can take advantage of Teams and Planner and the full versions of Word and PowerPoint and stuff. And this is essentially what helps me keep a full-time job, be the amazingly wonderful, absolutely amazing, right? Amazing father of 7-year-old triplets, and not get bogged down by TeacherCast. These different platforms actually allow me to get so much work done without having the need to sit here over and over again. So if you have any questions about any of these things, please let me know. I've also got some great write-ups and affiliate links and stuff over on TeacherCast. Would be happy to help you out over that stuff. Ingrid, thank you for that comment. Love it. So let's wrap up here. All right. I want to just kind of give you my 5 tips for success. If you have a pencil, now's a good time to do it. Are you ready for my 5 tips for success? Number 1, make a drawing. No, seriously, I'm serious. Make a drawing. All of the stuff that I do first starts on paper or starts on a digital canvas, right? If I don't have paper and pencil, maybe the iPad, the Apple Pencil. But anytime I do a website, I draw it out first. Anytime I'm working with a teacher and I'm coaching them, we're drawing things on a whiteboard or on a chalkboard, on some kind of a flat surface. We're always drawing things. Hang it up, right? This is the goal. This is the vision. Know your avatar. I did an exercise with somebody who I was working with on these very topics. I said, what do you want to do? She says, I want to go into business for myself. I want to create a side hustle. I want to help people out. Great. Way too big of a goal, right? Well, who's your audience? Administrators. Great. Way too big of a goal. I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go home and I want you to draw me a picture of the administrator that you're talking to. Who's your target administrator? A couple of days later, she comes back and she says, all right, here's the picture. And it's somebody at a desk. Maybe this describes your desk. I don't know. And on the side of the desk are papers stacked up. You got books stacked up. You have the computer. There was the clock with like the hands of the clock all over the place, right? You get totally stressed out. You know, the tie was half off. Okay, she was a good drawer. I said, tell me about this. And she says, okay, I took your challenge. I'm not just doing it for administrators. I'm doing it for the newer administrators who need help, don't yet know how to micromanage the job, the balance, the all of that stuff, and they really just need some help and guidance. That's my target audience. I said, yes. What does that target audience need? How do they need it? When do they need it? Where do they need it? If that's your target audience, are you going to be on TikTok making videos? They're not going to look there. Maybe a newsletter is where you want to focus, not on Twitter. So knowing who that audience is, drawing that picture. Again, remember back to, it's not every tech coach for me. It's the tech coach that might have multiple buildings, multiple masters, and doesn't have a clue because they're not being supported. The second thing, make your digital hub. Draw it out first. Again, stay off the computer to the very last minute. If I start every presentation with a PowerPoint slide deck, haiku deck slides thing, you're limiting yourself before you even start to the size of a rectangle. You're even limiting yourself to what's in front of you at the keyboard. So stay off the computer, draw it out, make a list, do all these things, but stay off your computer when building your digital hub. You want to spider chart that thing to figure out, here's my website, here's my social media, here's my video channel. You want to put all of that stuff together. Look into your search engine optimization, right? Look outside of EDU. I'm telling you, not a lot of teachers know these things, right? So go out there, find those YouTube channels, find those blogs, reach out to TeacherCast. Let's have a conversation. Look outside of EDU to learn more about how do you get the Google to find you? How do you bring in those clients, those customers, those avatars that you'll never, ever be able to find if it wasn't for the search engines? Tip number 4, social media. Again, Automate, it's okay, but keep things personal. Okay, that's just a little tip there. And then finally, number 5, don't be afraid of thinning the pack. We talked about email marketing. We mentioned this at the beginning. You're working hard, you're working hard, you're working hard, you're working hard. You send out a newsletter, 40 people decide to unsubscribe. It happened yesterday. Sent out a newsletter to almost 10,000 people, 40 unsubscribed. Most people go, well, then I don't want to send out a newsletter because every time I send out a newsletter, somebody's going to unsubscribe from me. I don't want that. Well, then what are you doing building a newsletter if you're not sending out your stuff? I want people to unsubscribe from me. Heck, I want them to unsubscribe to me more than ever, because if you get to a certain level of subscribers, that costs a lot of money every month to have people subscribe to you. If you don't want my content, I don't want you on my list, which means I don't want to pay for you to be on my list. So don't be afraid of thinning the pack. If people don't want your content, great. Yesterday, I put out a newsletter. It had this wonderful webinar on it, and it had a few of the newest Tech Coach podcasts. And again, about 40 people unsubscribed, and I went, good, let them go. I'll pay for the new ones to come on. It's all a marketing tool, but don't be afraid when people decide to get up and walk out of the room. Now, couple success stories. We've already talked on one here. This is my friend Kelly. This is the one that made the graphic, the design of the administrator. Okay, she and I were doing our Tech Coaches Mastermind, and her mission was to create a shift in the culture of traditional schools, one leader and one lesson at a time, mostly with a googly twist. Again, I asked her to draw me a picture. She did. We had that conversation, and she came out with this great website, the Incremental Drip. Learn, grow, connect, transform. The website looks good. We worked on the design. It looks awesome, and I'm so excited and so proud of Kelly. Okay, so where do you find help? I'm going to get to a couple of the questions here, but where can we find help? Because I know all you guys are sitting here going, okay, I got it. It's a little over my head. I'm understanding, but whoa, what just happened in the last 47 minutes? Number one, you can always visit me over on TeacherCast. I am so proud of this thing. It's 10 years old. We're having fun. And I want you to look at it. I want you to ask questions. I want you to pick it apart. I want you to help me build it as I help you build yours. If you're looking to build your brand through podcasting, I also have a great site called educationalpodcasting.com. We break things down both into podcasting with your students.com and studio podcasting. So no matter what kind of audio, video, media, we've got apps, we got equipment, we got lesson plans, we got you name it, anything audio and video is on there. And of course, I offer coaching for all this stuff. If you're looking for a great website, you can go over to educationalwebdesign.com, help you to work with you, consult with you, build your website, you name it, lots of great stuff. And I'm happy to help you guys out. I've been doing this since I was 15, and I love working with companies to help you guys build your EDU brands. And speaking of which, the last thing is everything that we're designing right now and talking about is over at buildyouredubrand.com. There's a 90-day free email marketing challenge where I come out and I help you out. We can look at your website. You can learn about marketing and everything that we're going to talk about. Everything that you come here to learn is going to be on this site, all, ready for it? Free. All for free. So we talked a little bit about the bonuses. You guys have been awesome. I want to say thank you to everybody here. Thanks to our hosts and our sponsors. But let's learn how to build our EDU brand today. Number one, if you go to teachercast.net/help me get started, just write that down. teachercast.net/help me get started. We can find some time. We can sit down together. I'll give you a nice little $100 discount for being here. Let's figure out how you can make some side hustle. Let's make sure you guys know how to help out your company, help out your family, and build your EDU brand together. So teachercast.net/help me get started, whether it be brand building, websites, themes, putting a package together, email funnels, landing pages, newsletters, giveaways, social media tips, and much more. Happy to help you guys out with that. And then finally, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for supporting TeacherCast. Thank you, Agile EDU, for having me here. And if you go to teachercast.net/build your EDU brand online course, you can download this presentation, a little bit of my voice, and a lot of great stuff, all for yours all free, all day, every day. And guys, I want to say one last time, thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here, and it is so much fun to have you guys here. And I think at this point, I'll pause, ask some questions or answer some questions. And for my hosts, if you guys want to come up and say hi, this was a great time, and I hope everybody got something out of this today.
Yeah, Jeff, everyone got a ton out of this today. I even had some things reaffirmed, learned a few things, so I really appreciate it. So I'm going to ask a couple, and I know that you can see them over here, but I was hoping that you would go into a little bit on hashtags.
Sure.
And one of the things that strikes me this year is that everyone, but educators too, have educators more than normal are sitting in front of their computer, and they're not behind the firewalls. They have shorter physical custodial work days, and that means in my mind that the computer screen and being online is even more critical. And hashtags, someone was like on Twitter. So if you want to elaborate a little bit and go into that, like there's
Sure.
EdChat, California
Yeah,
Ed.
there's a lot of great Twitter chats. I recently asked the question, are Twitter chats still a thing? And I think the answer is yes. Obviously, a little bit less than they were
Mhm,
10 years ago when we got started. I mean, Ed Chat is, of course, the granddaddy, Ed Tech Chat. And
mhm.
I was kidding earlier because my good friend Alex is on here listening. Alex, I love you. He's one of the founders of Ed Tech Chat, a great chat on Mondays. But, obviously, look, a hashtag is nothing more than a way for a computer application to catalog a certain topic, right? So you can hashtag podcasting. You can say, I love hashtag podcasting, don't you? Or you can say, what's your favorite audio platform? Hashtag podcasting. So you can make it part of the sentence. You can put it all at the bottom. There's a few rules that we try to keep and follow. You don't want to ask a question and then put 100 hashtags at the bottom. Nobody wants all that noise. Technically, you can click on those hashtags depending on the program, and it'll filter. How many people do that? I don't know. I don't do that. I really don't. But I do use TweetDeck to follow
Interesting.
certain things.
Yeah, and so I've started doing it more often, and like Instagram and LinkedIn have started doing that as well. And so it's
Mhm.
really interesting because it kind of curates things.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the things too, is as you're building like your avatar, it occurs to me like following some hashtags might be a really good way to understand and sort of fill in some context around,
Absolutely.
whatever you're
And,
doing. So
and
there's
people
two.
ask the question, like, how do I create a hashtag? Just put a hashtag in front of a word and forget the
Exactly.
spaces. So if you're on Twitter or even on Facebook and you do hashtag build your EDU brand, you find all my junk. It's all right there, right? It doesn't cost anything. You just do it. Most of these companies, Twitter, Facebook, etc., will actually give you a box where you can put in the hashtag and it'll give you what the URL is. And then you can hand out, here's the searchable way to find my hashtags. So, it's important. Somebody also asked how many social media posts a day.
Mhm.
I don't know. And if anybody gives you an answer, stop listening to them, right? Again, I use an application called CoSchedule. It knows when people are interacting with my stuff. So I write a bunch of posts and I just say, schedule these for the best times of the day. And then it knows that most people on, I don't know, I'm making this up, Thursdays at 4 o'clock till 6 o'clock, that's when people are consuming my content
And it
because we're
can change.
teachers. And it changes per the day. So honestly, I automate my automations. You can still do this on Twitter. For instance, like today we were going live at 5 o'clock. I was going to put stuff onto Twitter at like 4, 4:30, 4:45, manually doing it. There is no right answer. There's no wrong answer. And again, if anybody says you need 12 posts a day between the hours, don't listen to that person. They don't know.
And so the other thing too that I think was really important that you shared with everyone is the opt-outs. And so for us, same thing, we actually put our opt-out right above the content. It's
Oh
super
yeah.
easy to get to for the exact reason that you're talking about. Is that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll focus on
I,
the people who are interested.
I've
And
seen it very bluntly. Like, if this is not for you, here's the highway, get out. Here's the off ramp. And then because why would you let your user go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, get frustrated because they're trying to get rid of you? and it's hidden at the bottom. No. This post is all about how to make a podcast. If this isn't for you, A, click here and you'll be taken off this podcasting list, or B, just go away completely. I give them the option and it works.
It does.
It just
Yeah.
works.
And, especially I think the audience that we have today is, you're not, a giant corporation. You really have to be efficient and thoughtful about how you're using your time. So it's really important. Okay, the last one that I see here that I think is really meaty is SEO.
Yeah.
So I have thoughts, but I would love to hear sort of an approach. So the question was, should I hire someone for SEO?
No.
I agree.
And again, I would need more content. If you tell me that your last name is Gates, then yes, hire somebody for SEO, right? If you're Mrs. Smith, the third grade teacher, no. I would love to get more context about that, but no matter what the situation, unless your name is Gates, no matter, just learn how to write good content, right?
Exactly.
Learn how to put content together. I can't tell you how many hours I spend studying content. Now, you don't have to do it. You don't, I'm crazy. And hiding from the triplets most of the time. But if you're looking at a lot of different pieces of content, it's no different. What microphone do I need? I want to make a podcast. And my answer is just use your Apple earbuds. What's important is that you know how to speak, not what kind of microphone you have. Do I need the $300 microphone or the $50 microphone? Do I need a USB mic or an SLR mic? You just need to know how to talk to somebody. That's it. People will listen if you know how to talk. People will read your content if you know how to write. You can write in list format. You can write in paragraph style. That's the SEO stuff, right? I've had so many fights with SEO experts because they're trying to earn their paycheck, and I'm like, doesn't matter. If the content stinks, no one's gonna read it anyway.
And that's where the beauty of you talking about the avatar and understanding that person, because people use different words for the same thing. So when you write your post, your whatever it is, using the terminology that that particular group uses, that's who's going to find it.
So here's TeacherCast, right? And if you come down here, building your brand, tech coaching, tech integration, improving your website. So you can see I've got a different avatar here for the front doors, right? So now I've got featured news. You can see the branding. I know it's the same picture, but each of these things has a different audience. When I click over here that says I need help with, let's just click on here. I'll click on here. I'll click on here, and I'll click on here. Notice instructional coaching. Well, what kind? Recording my podcast. What kind? I'm helping you index all of TeacherCast. This, notice, same look, same feel, different color scheme, different brand, but same look, same feel. Welcome instructional coaches. What do you want? Do you want to subscribe, read, or join? Over here, let's work together. The podcasting audience, different color. You know your lane. Subscribe, plan, right? Here's action items. Over here, do you need a website? I can help you plan. I can help you choose. I can help you do this. The branding stuff. Here's all the different topics. Who's the audience, right? If you want to move down, you're going to come into our online course or our blog or marketing strategies or the 90-day marketing challenge or the podcast or the, and even down here, are you struggling to find? Even down here, I'm trying to find the avatar. And if I go, oh my goodness, yes, then it pops into give me your email, right? Because it's all about trying to figure things out. If you're a podcaster, I'm not going to be sending you stuff about tech coaching. But if you're a podcaster, I might send you stuff about branding, because sometimes those rules and those worlds kind of go together. So there's a lot of different mousetraps that we can talk about. I'd rather talk about that than search engine optimization, because they both go hand in hand. But how do I optimize my tags, my keywords, just make good content. People will come back.
And text. That's like the only technical thing that I think sometimes is easy to forget. Google reads text.
Google is made for a 3-year-old. right? It is made for simple search that people can find. Don't overthink it. It's the people that are out there overthinking keyword research, right? You want to do keyword research? Great. I'll show you keyword research. How to create a profitable email newsletter. I don't need to do any research. Someone's going to type in on Google, how do you make a profitable email newsletter? That's it, right?
Thank
It's just
you.
that.
And yeah, and that was why I wanted you to unpack that a bit, because I think that it can be intimidating and you can get all this extraneous information that's not really helpful. And
Yeah.
thank you, because I think you reinforced a lot of what can really be done well and be done really easily, especially everyone who's on this, you're an expert in this, so you know exactly what to say. So just say it
And
and people will
this is a
come
good
to
example here. The bumper says, "Are you a limited liability company?" The blog is called "The Importance of Forming an LLC." In Google, I have it set for "How do you make an LLC?" because that's what people are going to search for. They're just going to type in third grade words. Sorry, but basic structure.
it.
So
A
everything
great way.
here is designed for the audience. Here, my audience is pretty website. So yeah, keep the questions coming, guys. These are all good stuff.
Okay. I think we're starting to lose some people. I covered the ones that I thought were super important. You covered embedding. Kara or Jeff, do you see any that you think that we've missed?
I'm happy to you can always reach out, Jeff at TeacherCast.net. You can find me on Twitter, and of course you
Yeah,
can find me at TeacherCast and all those great things. And let's start those conversations, right? Happy to jump on a call.
thank you. I appreciate it. And so, with the people that we work with, we're the data side of this, and so we can help you get the message that Jeff is going to help you create to the right people efficiently, effectively, inbox placement. There's all these other side of it, but I wanted to bring you on board. This is a great way for us to kick off the new year. Everyone is even more digital than they have been in the past, and so it's just so important, and it can help everyone be really successful. And educators, schools, districts, they need things, they need help, they need everyone who's on this on with us today
Mhm.
to let's connect you with the right people. So I appreciate it very, very much. And we'll get everyone, I think that everyone can remember TeacherCast and they will find you. And Jeff, I know that you've also graciously offered to follow up with everyone, and you've given everyone some URLs to go to. So I thank you. I thank you for sharing all of your knowledge and tips, tricks, and how to do it. And yeah, I appreciate it. And I think we'll probably be doing more this year. So I'm excited about that too. All right. Yep, I think we've gotten through everything for right now, and we will go ahead and sign off. So have a great late afternoon, evening, everyone. Look for the link to the recording and all the information, all the resources. They'll be coming to you in the next 24 hours. Many thanks to Kara Murphy for helping us get all of that organized. And again, thank you, Jeff, and we look forward to the next session that we put together with you.